Hello, everyone. Marcella is coming on shortly. Maybe. How's everyone doing today?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Are we doing good?
Good.
Yep, I'm
Very
doing
good.
great.
Good, good. All right, we'll give it a few. But Carol, did you have a certain agenda or flow that you wanted to take this?
Um, Let me check. Marcela shared, I think an agenda for us. Let me. No, I need to find it. Okay,
I'm looking for
I'm
it.
sending it in the chat.
All right, cool. So it looks like Camila, you're up first. If you want to go ahead and kick off, and it looks like you have.
Yes, I can start. I just share my screen. Just a minute. Can you all see the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm Camila. I'm going to talk about the project that I worked on at Repository Service Portal during this summer mentorship. I worked in improving the developer experience and giving a little bit of background about myself and how I started looking into open source and how I ended up finding about this project. I actually have, oh, not possible. I actually have a picture of the first time I discovered open source. I contributed to open source. It was in 2016. So I'm a software engineer and I migrated into cybersecurity. When I started my career, it was really hard, and as a woman in tech, all the challenges and the struggles. So something that really helped me was being part of a community. So I was part of PyLadies, and I went to this Python conference in 2016, and then in the end of the conference everyone got together to do a sprint, and it was to contribute to open source. It was when I found out what open source was, and it was in October, and it was happening the Hacktoberfest, and I left the conference amazed by that community and about open source, and I was like, I really want to be part of this. I want to contribute. So I continue my career close to the Python community, but open source was something far away from me. Something that distance, and I never really did anything about it. And then when I was migrating to cybersecurity, I was looking for a community to be part of, the same way I did when I was in software engineering. So I discovered the OpenSSF. I started looking at the projects and the working groups and everything, but I never found something that I could engage, or I was a bit afraid of doing things. So I kept my distance, but I was always paying attention to what was happening. And then was when they shared about, I think was kind of post on LinkedIn about the mentorship program. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. Something that I could, really engage and, have that time to be dedicated to do things. So I did. And then I was really happy when I was selected to this program. But yeah, so the project that I was working was to improve the developer experience, especially related to functional tests and, tests in general. So the functional tests are very critical, not only for our stuff, but for software in general. So it's very important to have tests in place to make sure that they work. The new features are added, don't break what's already in place, and we don't have weird behaviors and things like that are also security issues. So having the test in place is very important. So this was a challenge for this project. So it was to improve the maintainability and the readability of the test suites, to reduce the duplicated effort in writing tests, to make the onboarding of new contributors easier, and to ensure the consistency across different test scenarios. Besides that, the challenge that I had when I first started working on that was to understand the project and the components and how they work together, because we have like the three parts, right? We have in this project the API, the CLI, the worker, and the umbrella that put all that together. So I spent some time understanding how that, worked, and also to understand how to run the project and, the technical structure of it. And my experience running the project, because I was working with improving the developer experience, helped me think about how a new contributor would do that. And the challenge that I was facing would be the same that a new contributor would face as well. So kept that in mind to help improve that part as well. And I had a lot of support from Cairo and to understand all this, and from the rest of the group as well, the other mentees and other contributors too. So in the end, the work that I ended up doing these last 3 months was to improve the code coverage. So when I started looking at the project, I started with the tests. So I looked at the unit tests to help me understand, the features that were in place and the tests that were in place. So I saw that in the worker, we had coverage of 65% in one part of it, and the rest of it was 100%, but this part was 65. So I wrote a few unit tests to help me, get started, and then end up getting to 75%. Still wants to get to 100, but still work in progress. To refactor this, another thing that I worked was to refactor the scripts to make them cleaner and more reusable, and to make it easier for new contributors to run the functional tests locally, because that was a challenge that I had in the beginning. So it's something that I worked on this. I also did other small changes like adding security site files, update the maintenance information, things that were outdated when I was working, fix a bug that I found as well. So all these small contributions helped me, understand how the process worked to open a PR in this project, and have all that process until it get merged. It's not done, so the 3 months went really fast. So I still have things to do, like to add new functional tests for the custom delegation mode that we didn't have in place. I'm still working on that. Add other tests for the new features that are being worked on that Sridhar is going to talk about. Continue to improve the coverage to get to 100%, and to improve the documentation as well. And for the future, like the mentorship is finished, but I still want to continue contribute to our stuff. I want to continue contribute to the other open source projects and OpenSSF working groups like this one. And like in the beginning, when I first heard about open source, I always felt like these were very distant to me, and I feel like being part of this, helped me gain the confidence that I needed to, keep myself close. And I feel like it made me closer to that person I want to be, because I always thought like, oh, being an open source contributor is really cool. And I think I'm in the right place. So I'm really grateful for this experience, and it's been really good. Thank you. I think that was it.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much. And I know when Marcella and I were putting this together a couple months ago to get it, this was kind of the vision we had for folks to be able to contribute and see, their place. So thank you, Camelia. And then up next we are
Let me just few words about that. Yeah, the functional tests are very critical for our stuff because, as you must know, the update framework works with cryptography and making the clients to trust what they are downloading from any kind of repository. Breaking functionality, it means breaking the consistent and breaking the security. So yeah, Camila was really able to understand how the product works because it's very complex. And yeah, she did a great job. And I hope to continue work with Camila in the project. Thank you, Camila.
awesome. That's awesome. We have apologies, Sinjoy.
Yeah. I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Srinjoy Datta, and I have been working on the other part of the project for a new feature that was to support hashpin delegations under custom delegations. A little about me is I'm currently a final year undergraduate in computer science and engineering from India. I started my open source journey a year back when I was in my third year. So it went like in a random evening. I used to work on mostly stuff with AI, so I used to work on Hugging Face a lot. So a random evening, I thought maybe let's look for open source repositories that I can contribute to. So I just saw a LinkedIn post where someone said there are good first issues for that particular repository. So I went there in Hugging Face and it was a huge repository. So I was very intimidated. Then I was like, maybe I could do it, or should I do it? Maybe I would get myself embarrassed. Things would happen, but I just gave it a go. And since then, I not looked back. And it was really a good experience. I learned a lot from uh, the maintainers, from the projects, and how to contribute. And I've grown immensely since then. And then I started looking for mentorship programs like Google Summer of Code, and LFX also came into my, KLFX was also on another mentorship program. So I just started looking for projects that I would be interested in. I was looking at the projects and I gave it a go for R stuff, and R stuff was something that caught my eye because it was something that I have not worked before. So it made me very interested that this is something that I could work and that could be meaningful, and it's something that could learn about it as well. So it was something of a security intersection with infrastructure. So it was really intriguing for me to go ahead with this. So yeah, I gave it a go. I looked for a few issues. I started reading the code base, started trying to understand about what RS stuff and more importantly, what Tough is about, because it is what RS Tough is based on, and then submit that proposal. And yeah, I got accepted, and it was really happy for it was a happy moment for me. And then I started working on the feature. So coming to the feature, like I said, I've been working on introducing hashpin delegation under custom delegations. So in the tough delegation model and RStuff 100, we have currently two types of delegations. Uh, First mode is succinct hashpin delegations. So in this delegation pattern, under the targets role, there are a lot of hash pins created. So that could range from anything between powers of 2 from 1 to 16. So it can go from 2 to something like 45,000, 45, 52,000, something like that. So there are a lot of hash pins that are created. So it is meant for mainly large repositories that have large number of artifacts under it. So it makes it really easy to work with large number of artifacts without having to explicitly sign each of the hash metadata. So you can still verify the trust with the artifacts, but also since it has been, I mean, it has a large number of hash pins, so it is more scalable. And the other mode is having custom delegation. So custom delegation is meant for projects that want to segregate different artifacts into different roles. Say you have a project that you might want to have a different role for the releases that are going into the production. You might have a different role that are uh, going into the QA testing. So you can segregate those roles, and depending on that, you can choose which artifact to put where. So it gives you more fine-grained control over which artifact you can put where. So this is the part I have worked on is what if you could combine the best of both worlds? What if you had the power of the scalability of the hash pins as well as you had the fine-grained control for the custom delegations. So that could mean that if you had a lot of release artifacts, so you can have arrange those into hash bin, as well as have that granular controller because they're onto the rule for releases. So so the delegation pattern would look something like this. You have the top level targets role, then it delegates to, let's say, a role A and role B. Role A contains, role A further delegates into hash bins. So it supports the new pattern, and you can still choose to go for the existing delegation pattern, the standard custom delegation. Currently, the first iteration of this feature, we only support signing using the global online key. We also plan to extend this feature more so that we can support more signing schemes, which I will talk about later. And I've also prepared a little demo about it. So we'll use the artist of CLI and we'll secure Curls, one of the release candidates here. So we can see over here. Let's go with. So we'll perform the ceremony, then we'll configure a repository, and then we'll try to download that release candidate and show that it's trusted using the new delegation pattern. So we'll secure this RC3 tar.gz for the car release candidates. On the right side of the screen, that is the endpoint where you see all of the metadata storage for the metadata storage, and the left side is the CLI. So currently the ceremony is not done. So we need to do the bootstrapping first, and then all of those metadata will show on the right side of the screen. So we are trying to create a new custom role called release candidates, as you can see, and we have selected a number of hash bins, 16 here. And to guide the users better, I've also added little notes there. So users, when using the feature as well, know that whatever what they're going to expect from the feature currently. So, and this part is the rest of the ceremony. So currently we are trying to sign the root and set up the online key. So root has currently 2 signatures. And we also know that on top that root needs to be having offline keys. So let's say, and one maintainer signs the root for now, like here JC is signed here. So we need still one more signature to complete the ceremony because we need to have one more signature. Let's say the maintainer lives in another part of the world. So we'll go here and then sign the other signature of the root. And then that it's done, ceremony is done, then you can see all the metadata files, the metadata storage endpoint. You see the role that has a number of bins there inside the metadata as well. Now we'll configure the curl repository for our stuff to secure the release candidates. So we'll add a new repository. So all these parameters are what we need to pass to create this configuration. There we have it. We have created a curl repository configuration, set edit to current repository, and now we'll add an artifact to the release candidates role. So we'll add that artifact that I've shown before. There we have it. The artifact is published, and you can see that new bin metadata is persisted. That has a new version and contains that artifact metadata as well. And the snapshot also corresponds to that new version, so that we have the trust delegated and it's trusted. And we can see now if we try to download, it is successfully downloaded because now it is trusted. And as I said, we also have a flexibility to add custom rows without the current delegation pattern. So we have both options for the RStuff clients to use using the CLI. And here we'll add a new custom role for the releases, that is the downloads for curl. So here we choose no for the hashpin delegations, and we can still use the standard delegation, standard custom role delegation. So in curl, the releases are stored under the download. So you can add that. And we have the options to sign using both online and offline keys. And here you can see the new custom role is also created. You have the new role inside the targets as well, and in the snapshot as well. And there was a little demo for the new feature. Apart from it, while I was developing, there were a few bugs here and there, so I tried to solve it, and those bugs were solved and got those PRs merged and included in the RStuff 1v1. And it was something really interesting, and I really loved doing a little bit of finding it, because when you start reading the code and then you see these perks coming up while you are testing, and then it was something I really enjoyed actually. So the challenges was understanding the code base, obviously, because our stuff is pretty complicated. So understanding the code base was a big factor in whether if I'm going to contribute effectively, understanding the control flow for each operation, like how adding a delegation goes through the code, which part of the code gets invoked, and what change I need to do to support this feature without breaking the existing feature. Also, during the 3 months, we had various discussions with Cairo, Martin, the other mentees as well. So uh, I didn't have real world experience in terms of thinking about improving performance and thinking about the performance that would also be a factor into a new feature. So Cairo gave me new direction on thinking about how you can do this. You can think about the performance part as well, think about the race conditions, and at the end, attention to detail became crucial because it is a security project, and it's something that I felt I needed to do to actually contribute to this feature effectively and more meaningfully. Future work for this feature would be, as I said, would be to support both offline and online keys, support role-specific online keys, and multiple levels of custom delegation. Uh, that would be really great to have in the future iterations of this feature. And looking ahead on a personal level, I would love to stay involved with the community. I loved being a part of this program, interacting with the mentees, as well as contributing to our stuff. And it feels like I'm kind of very interested, and I would really love to be involved in it more. And I still want to contribute to open source projects, explore more about OpenSSF, other working groups, and develop myself as a well-rounded professional, integrate best software development practices, and I'm still looking for new graduate roles for after I graduate next year. And at the end of all, just staying curious and keep learning and enjoying what I do, contributing to open source. That's what I would love in the long term as well. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been a really great time with the mentees, with Cairo, with Martin, and it has been a pleasure to be a part of this mentorship program.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we have maybe a minute for for questions. Does anyone have a question for Srinjoy? Or Cairo, maybe you want to,
Yeah, I
give a
want
final
to.
word here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. To be honest, the two interesting things is the two bugs that Srinjoy found actually were crucial for the R stuff release 1.0 that was last week. And also this feature, actually there are some I cannot disclose it yet, but there are some scientific papers for that are using R stuff to exemplify the model of the security that they are designing. And this feature actually is something critical for this paper as well. And not only this, but if you think about repositories like PyPI and others that we want to not do just PEP 458 that is famous about securing using our stuff, are using tough. Yeah, this feature is also crucial to going a step ahead when, for example, developers from a certain projects, they could sign the releases. So, and not only this, to be honest, this become the biggest feature for the next release of the R stuff 1.10. So, yeah, thank you, Srinjoy, for the product.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having.
Thank you. So I think with that, next up we have Om, who will be presenting on viewing our stuff worker. So yeah, go ahead and share your screen, please.
Yes, sure. Just a second.
While Om is preparing, just to say that the functional tests are crucial for this kind of feature as well. That do you see the combination from one work to another and how they relate? Yeah.
Yeah, so can everybody see the screen? Hello.
So right now we can see your Zoom window.
Yeah, okay, sure. So okay, so I'll just start with my presentation. So let's just begin. Okay, so basically, I'm Om Biradar. I was a LFX mentee for the previous term. I was Yeah. So basically, this title is not so good looking into our stuff worker, but yeah, that's the most creative I could get into it. So okay, I'll just start with who am I. So I'm a final year mechanical engineering student at the Indian Institute of Technology, Varanasi. So people might have heard of Varanasi. I don't know. So yeah, then I was a GitHub enthusiast. I mean, I used to take up solving like beginner friendly bugs here and there. Our stuff was not my first project, but yeah, it was my third or fourth project which I was like actively started contributing. So other things about myself is I'm also at Code Forces, if you want to see. Then also my background, because I was interested in R stuff because of this, was because I had worked on QKD networks, that is quantum key distribution networks before, and some ML algorithms to minimize the attack surface. So that was quite interesting. I did it as a part of my coursework here, though it was like yeah, I was working with research papers and stuff, so our stuff felt quite interesting and quite familiar because of that. And yeah, also just to add that I just love photography. What's to this? Okay, so in short, what did I do this summer? So basically, everyone of you would have gone through logs like these. These are just like you have to exactly find, you have to make log messages verbose, put in enough information in those messages so that you can actually search for them and pinpoint the logs afterwards, stuff like that. So this is like quite complicated, and you cannot really get the proper flow of execution of a particular API request, for example. So what my work was focused on was to convert these text-based like logs into a kind of a visual appearance, to give it a visual appearance, and this is going to happen dynamically. So instead of seeing these logs, the user can directly get this view of what is exactly happening at the backend. So this view, basically, I'll just elaborate and go into detail. But what this is basically showing is this is the timeline at the bottom. So basically, at this moment, at t equal to 0, there's some API request coming. There's some function which is going to run. So this function is calling some other function which is like at the level 2. So it is being called like a stack basically. So this function stacks over this function. Then this function is over that function. Then you can see smaller functions being called repeatedly here and there. So this is a proper visual representation, and this basically covers all the aspects of the repository. This is covering each and every function of the repository. I mean, you could have a really good visual view about exactly what is happening throughout the API request. And these can be used for optimizations. These can be used for detecting bugs or detecting some critical cases, or even debugging some cases which maybe users report in the future. They say about some critical cases which weren't thought about, but which unexpectedly showed themselves in the production environment. So I'll just go into more details about how this was exactly done, because this is quite vague. Uh, yeah. So okay, briefly. So let's start with the questions. Like ask ourselves questions. Why do bugs arise? Why do we miss out simple optimizations which we could have done here or there in our code base? And what to do if there's a very rare edge case? Because detecting the edge case might take quite a long amount of time. If somebody is familiar with the binary search, I guess there was a very small bug in the Java development kit, the Java language, the compiler, about an integer overflowing. Yeah, it was such a rare edge case, and nobody had thought about it. But yeah, there's a point that a major bug can be missed out in very simple things for a longer period of time, and then nobody would have noticed it, because as soon as something crashes, what we do instinctively is just reset the system. The code works, so don't make any changes which break it. Yeah, so there is no real way to actually visualize and see what is happening. So what could be the answers to these problems? First of all, the complex code format required while writing code, that the tendency to always follow certain rules while writing code, or always follow a certain pattern, which might not be the best way to represent what is happening, but it is the best way to write the function, to write the working of the code. And also handling multiple files. While handling multiple files, there is a large probability of making errors, because yeah, like multiple files means basically a bigger code base. Problems with that. Then the project is just too big to fail. Sometimes you just blindly trust. We say this function works. So if I'm going to implement some function myself, I'm going to trust the function that that function is working properly. But sometimes what happens is that the problem is not with my function. The problem is with the existing function. There's a slight bug. So then it just hinders the new contributor, or the new any person who is going to develop anything over the project is going to face challenges, because he or her is not sure if the problem is with their code, or if the problem is with the existing code, or is it just that he or she has misunderstood how to intertwine them, how to make them work together, and stuff like that. So like, wouldn't you just agree, like, wouldn't life be just better with some visual aid to the flow of execution, some visual debugging, or some visualizations of critical cases of failures, and on the go? This is happening on the go. No need of hours of just making the visualizations, of visually tracking it, spending hours on that, spending teams work on that, stuff like that. So let me go. So basically, my work was trying to do this exactly. So this was done using. Okay, I'll just explain this from the start. So basically, there's RStuff Worker, which works with Celery to manage its tasks in the backend. So what my work focused on was integrating open telemetry. Open telemetry is something which collects the logs in the back of the system as the system is executing any function. Any function on its own, open telemetry has the capability to collect everything. They call it traces, spans, and logs. So traces and spans are like for example, you were to trace a function. So the tracer begins as soon as the function starts its execution. So the function is spanning over some time t. So the span basically contains information of when the function started executing, when the function ended its execution, and all the sub functions which it is going to call. It is going to arrange it in a linked list kind of a format, in a beautiful tree format, or so, in a beautiful graph, basically, just like Git graphs. Like, they just split out features and all, and then like similar kind of thing happens over here. So this is this is like packaged. This information is collected on the go by OpenTelemetry, and it is collected from the from Celery and all the backend workers. So then this information is like packetted for a the packets are made every 2 or 3 seconds maybe. So then this packets are directly sent over to our visualization dashboard, that is Signos. Signos is very similar to Datadog. Signos is an open source alternative for Datadog. Datadog is a paid telemetry analyzer, you can say, and Signos is an open source telemetry analyzer. Signos has its own defects because, yeah, it is quite slow because it's an open source project which has come up recently. So that is it about all the components working in this project. I'll just show a brief demo on how this is done. So basically, so this feature is now limited only to the development environment. So so generally in our stuff, whenever we ran the development environment, we just ran make run dev. So here there is just one single extra word you have to add in that to make this work, and that is make run dev hotel. So you can see here, you just write make run dev hotel, and it launches everything as usual, but along with the Signos and the OpenTelemetry stack along with it. So yeah, it's gonna take a lot of time. That is because of some issues with the Signos, stuff like that. It takes a time, takes its time actually load. So it's about 2 minutes 30 seconds. So okay, yeah, it's gonna start right now. So now let's go to the part where, like, let's open the Signos dashboard. It is hosted at, yeah, 8081. So it's gonna open. There is a short login portal. For the local development environment, you can fill in anything in those fields, and it will just open up. In some production environment, there is a really quick way to actually add users who are authenticated and users and passwords, stuff like that. The configuration files are also pushed to the GitHub, to our stuff's GitHub, so it can be viewed and seen from there how to do it. So let's quickly generate some, give an API request. Let's this is just exploring the dashboard. So let's go and push in some API requests. This was actually an HTTP confusion. Never mind. So yeah, so this is the rstuff API. This is a fast API interface. So quite simple. So let's give a bootstrap initialization. Like, let's initialize a repository. So yeah, just a second. There's a problem. Okay. So let us just click execute over here. So as you can see, we'll switch the logs, and you can see the worker is like generating logs, working in the backend, and decoding this is very, very complicated. Like, you have to exactly know which function is generating this log, when it is being generated, and stuff like that. So as you can see here at the end, it has notified that there's a HTTPS payload sent to 8081, and which we can actually go here and visualize. As you can see, we have this full view over here of the breakdown of this API request. As I said, level 1, level 2, level 3 goes on in the bottom. Below, you can see all the names of the functions which were being executed, how much time they took. There's an optional feature to add tags over here. As you can see, every span has its own tag, set of tags. These can be customized based on what things we are trying to debug. So that's an optional thing to be added. Or like that
Quick
can be
time check.
customized. Yeah.
You have about a
Okay.
minute.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's actually. Yeah. So yeah, that is all that was. So let me just quickly speak about the challenges. So the main challenge was working with something that's not so common. The update framework is not so famous, not so many like tutorials and learning which exist on YouTube. So it was quite tough reading through all the documentations and everything. So yeah, and then repeatedly reading through docs again and again just because I got stuck on some bugs. So then about first contributions and how I started my contribution. So I just used to go on solve beginner friendly issues. Then even in our stuff, I started as a small time issue solver, and then I continuously read and made myself capable of solving some bigger issues. I solved some two or three issues here and there while actually even solving this one. Then my tips to new contributors would just be like, don't start messing around with the high level stuff because you don't know the production cycle or the cycle or the what is the next most important thing the developer, the main maintainer wants to be done. So the main thing is just working on small issues, which I thought was very helpful. My next steps are basically I just really wanted to contribute to tough implementations everywhere else, like in Go and etc. And really do want to expand the Signals dashboard so it can be used in the production environments. And yeah, sometimes for fun, I just solve small bugs and our stuff even now. And yeah, I just want to want companies to actually involve with our stuff. It's quite cool. Conclusion is yeah, thank you to everyone. Actually, that is my main conclusion over here. And the main thing I learned in my whole mentorship was like simplicity is key. You just need to make small changes until it just becomes big one day eventually. Yeah. So I guess.
Thank you. Cairo,
Yeah.
did you
Sorry
want to
if I
say
went fast.
just 1 minute?
Yeah, very quick. Yeah, very quick. Just to say that the initial challenge was to improve the performance of our stuff because it can handle repositories like PyPI with millions of artifacts, and it must to have a good performance. But we figured out that first we need to be able to see what is going in our stuff when something goes. So this was so we stepped back and helped us to make this visualization possible to understand where are the bottlenecks of performance in the future. Yeah, thank you for helping this.
Thank you. Yeah, great job. And our final speaker is Chinmay to talk about the LFX metadata visualizer for GitTuff. So yeah, please share your screen.
Yes, it is. Is it visible?
I can, so we can hear you, but you
Just a
see your
second.
camera. Yeah,
Is it
now.
visible right now? Yep.
Yes, now it
So
is.
I'm Chinmay. So I was selected at this project, which is GitHub, where our main task was creating the metadata visualizer and the policy simulator, and integrating this temporary time limited approval system. Other than that, previously I've contributed to Google Summer of Code under this organization, which is CC Extractor. Right now, I'm an AI intern at VFly, which is a startup based out of India. Previously, I've worked with AudioPod.ai, which is also an AI startup. So yes, this was about me. Also, I'm currently the maintainer of this project, which I worked in my Google Summer for tenure. So so basically, this is the landing page that you have, wherein you could put the remote repository link, or you could put the local repository link, repository directory, path, and it will be loaded in our system. And then all the commits would be fetched from your repository, and these are some of the commits that are done by Aditya Shirish. And then after clicking on any of them, you will be able to see this graph, which is in graph format. If we zoom in, we will be able to see more info about a particular node, which is present in the graph. Then we have everything in the tree format, wherein you can uh, expand and see those things in more info manner. Then we have beginner and advanced mode, wherein in the beginner mode, some of the things would be hidden, and in advanced mode, more technicality will be shown. Then we have this other feature, which is policy verification simulator. Wherein when you click on the start story, it will be telling you what is happening here. So repository starts with, there are maintainers, and you would be needing some approvals. And this is basically the graph that you have. Here we have what if mode. So let's suppose a maintainer actually approves your request, then it would be becoming green. So it was previously orange, and it will be becoming green. So it would be easy for a new contributor to get familiar with our system. Also, you can add your own approvals and uh, and other policies, etc., so that you can actually share your uh, whatever you are thinking, or what your how your overall structure of your repository looks like. You can actually download the JSON and you can share it to other person. So this was basically what I worked in my LFX mentorship. Also, other than that, I worked on this time approval attestation feature, wherein let's suppose there's a bug that appeared in 4 a.m. in the morning, and you want to push something in the repository, but there are not, not sufficient approvals to your PR, right? So you can actually you can actually push those commit without this approval for a limited period of time. So this is also I worked on. How I heard about this mentorship was one of my friend actually contacted me. He was like, okay, uh, there's this opening at LFX is actually accepting the request, so I actually applied to this project. After that, the challenges that I faced during the whole process was understanding the whole code structure, and I really want to thank Patrick about the whole help that he provided to me in the whole time span. He was always ready to help me, and uh, told me the whole control flow that I need to implement in the whole Golang code base. Also, my first contribution was in this application, which is Ultimate Alarm Clock, which was an Flutter project, wherein I solved good first issues, and later on I contributed in the same org as the sub contributor. Also the hints that I want to give to the new contributors is just to get started. Try to fix small bugs, and you'll be good to go. And what's next is I want to really stick to GitHub and OpenSSF, and contribute to other projects. And yes, I also want to improve this feature, wherein I would be adding some other visualization stuff, which would be helpful for new contributors to get more familiar with the system, and the process of contributing will be much easier. So yes, this was it. Also, I didn't really had a website open because it was my birthday. I was at my relative's house. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so
Happy
much.
feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah, any questions for Chinmay?
Nope, I don't really had questions, but yeah, I really enjoyed the mentorship, and I really want to continue contributing to OpenSSF.
Thank you. Yeah, I was also asking if other folks here have questions for you, actually, about about your project.
I'll quickly chime in. Thanks,
Yeah,
Chinmay.
go ahead.
It was an awesome summer. I have to say we get to have had a problem. Cairo might be familiar with this, where the maintainers and people that work on it are very familiar with the code base, but when it comes to having other people be introduced to that project, it's just super difficult. And we figured that we said why not, let's try the visualizer, and I think I showed it to some people. They definitely have a much better understanding of GitHub now. So it was definitely an awesome summer, and we'd love to have you contribute more, Chinmay. So thank you, and yeah, everything's awesome.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I was trying to see some sort of common themes in the summer's projects, and visualization is definitely one of those. Because yeah, I mean, like you said, Patrick, I think that's very helpful for newcomers and projects. Yeah. think with a few minutes left, I'll just say thank you again to all of our speakers and congrats on our great summer to all of the mentees. Definitely want to keep seeing you around. And I think, yeah, I think Jasenia also has an announcement.
Like Cairo, say his thoughts on that one.
Yeah. No, I just want to say that all my mentees, our stuff 1.0 was released last week at the OpenSSF Summit, and all mentees they have contributions to 1.0 release, so they are part of 1.0 release as well. So glad to see it.
That's
That's
awesome
very
to
cool.
see. Yeah, to close out, so I am the co-host of the OpenSSF podcast. I was speaking to the folks on the side as you were presenting. We're going to figure out logistics, and I know Cairo has your contact information, but I think it would be awesome to be able to get your voices on the podcast and talk about your summer mentorship. And, it would be a shorter because it'd probably be all four of you in the same call. We'll figure that piece out. But if you are interested, just let us know in the Slack channel. And then we can set that up. And Cairo will also do one with you and Marcella on this full blown program. I think it's great. And to be able to get your voice out there. If you're not comfortable with podcasts, don't worry about it. Right now we only do audio, but we are looking to do video. So you let us know your comfort level. But this is an opportunity for you to kind of shine, get your voice out and get more of that the things that you worked on in different forms of content that you can share with future employers and really highlight. So once again, just let us know on Slack, let Cairo know, and we're going to be handling just logistics in the background. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. This was fantastic. I was getting a teary eye in some of the presentations because this is great. Marcella, I'll let you close out.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to add than, yeah, I'm very glad that the first cohort of the mentorship went so well, and we definitely hope to expand the program a bit next year. So if you know people that want to join, people who want to mentor, sort of past mentors, you're absolutely welcome to keep mentoring. Or if this was a good experience, but you don't have the time to commit, that's totally understandable too. Yeah, either way, we hope to see you around, and yeah, have a great rest of your year.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.